Scores rise like morning sun, chasing points, the game's begun. Big decisions week by week, fantasy glory's what we seek. Pick your squad, the clock won't wait. Captain choice will seal your fate. Two enthusiasts breaking it down. Fantasy kings, we're taking the crown.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Tinker Time, an FPL pod, the show for every fantasy Premier League manager who's already second-guessing their 14th draft. It's Thursday, December 4th, 2025, and whether you're wildcarding after Week 14 or just here to scout some differentials, you've come to the right place. I'm Matt, alongside Jim, and we're here to help you tweak, test, and yes, tinker your way to the top of your mini-leagues. We'll break down the best value picks, fixture trends, and hidden gems, so you don't have to stare at your squad screen in despair. So let's pop the hood, crack open the spreadsheet, and get tinkering. Jim, we got to stop running into each other like this. It's getting crazy. I'm kind of getting sick of you.
You want to end it? This is the last one?
Me? Nah. I think we keep going.
Not on
What do
week
you
14.
think?
We at least got to make it halfway through.
I think, yeah. I mean, I'm used to finishing early. Don't get me wrong, but I think this would be extra early. I think if we stopped right now. How the hell are you?
Doing all right. I'm feeling a little bit better. I had some good thoughts, some almost good picks that you talked me out of on Monday night. I feel like the points weren't there, obviously, never are for me, but I feel like my head was in the right spot.
What? I mean, maybe we should give our listeners some context. I mean, what? It's not like
Malin.
It's not like I was telling you to.
I was going to pick up Malin. You've been taunting his preseason metrics in front of me all season. I said, you know what? It's time to cash in. This guy's it's good as gold, and he scored.
Yeah,
I missed out.
You missed out, and just so folks are aware, you opted for Dewsbury Hall.
Dewsbury Hall.
Yeah,
3 points.
In fairness to Dewsbury Hall, he had been on a nice little run, so I don't think anybody would fault you or me for giving that advice. Interestingly enough, though, and we'll get into it, there was a goal scorer that kind of made an appearance for Villa that kind of had been a little bit absent up to this point.
True, very true.
So I don't know, kind of
regardless, I'm all right. I'm at peace with my week. I missed out on the Holland captain, of course.
What? Why? I mean, what are you doing?
Why? On one hand, I'm in last place. What do I have to lose?
So true.
On the other hand, everybody else had Holland this week, right?
Yeah.
So
that's
if
true.
I had him, I wouldn't have made up any ground. I guess I could have made up ground on Lord Tinker.
Yeah.
Which is really my only competition.
That's really your only competition. Yeah.
Maybe I should have been focused on that.
Yeah. I mean, this comeback story, don't call it a comeback.
Definitely don't.
Don't call it a comeback.
I'm just fighting for my life to get ahead of him or her.
You ever see that clip from, I think it's Parks and Rec? Did you ever watch Parks and Rec?
I've watched that multiple times. Great show.
I think there's a clip. I don't know the character's name, but I want to say it's Chris Pratt. There's a clip where they have like a blooper of there's some scene where he's calling it a comeback. He's like, oh, the scene with Kim Kardashian, where she had cum on her back.
Yeah,
that one was good. That one was good. Yeah, and that's probably why these episodes get flagged as private on YouTube, because we talk about things
because
like that.
Take so long to get to a punchline that they want to save people.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but and then we do the editing, and some of those time it gets cut down. But listen, I'm very excited to be back. We have 7 game week deadlines, I think, over, like we said, in the course of about 5 weeks. We're in the thick of it here, and you might have lost a little bit of ground this week, but plenty of chance to make it back. People are going to be in the holiday spirit. It just takes one game week of folks missing deadlines to get some of that back. So,
want to get into it?
Let's get into it. Yeah. And what happened this week? Opening fixture, we had Everton and Bournemouth. This was an interesting one. I mean, I think what I took away from this one, I think Grealish just kind of proved that sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And I also think Semenyo, he's kind of just stayed pretty cold at this point. If you still have him in your squad, I could understand why you still have him in your squad, but I don't know if I would. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, agree. I think we said it a few weeks ago. It was time to cash in. And I mean, to be fair, you probably made so much money if you had him since the beginning that you're not really worried about price drops these days with everybody, the midfielders that are contributing are pretty much all around 8 or 9. I don't know. We kind of joked about it earlier in the season, but do you think that he's going to get snatched up in January?
I don't know.
His stock,
I
I would say his stock is never going to be higher, but at the same time, he has fallen off quite a bit. So
He's probably fallen off a little bit, but you also have to consider, who he's playing with. You've got to think the teams that are game planning. If you're a manager and you're going in to play Bournemouth, your game plan has to be slow down Semenyo and let everyone else beat you.
yeah,
So, from that standpoint, that's just the classic game plan of any manager. It's like, let's try to slow their best player down and let everyone else beat you. I think there's been lots of rumors for him moving to a team in red, whether that's Arsenal, whether that's Liverpool. I know there's been some links for him lately, um, maybe to go to City. So I don't know if they'll move him in January, but I would probably say he's gone sometime in the summer.
yeah.
But you
Also
know,
to note, though, Evan Nilsson didn't start. Messi didn't start. Vernier didn't start. So probably not their A lineup, but I think you put in the notes there, you know, that could still take advantage. Sometimes you don't have to be the best. You just need to be that spark and get the goal.
yeah. Yeah, nice goal for Jack. I think I'm just looking at his numbers here on a season now. Let's see. So he's still priced at 6.6, 59 points on the season. So he's not in that upper echelon, but he's pushing that 60-point barrier, which would kind of get him into that kind of top 15 or so midfielders, which at that price range would be, pretty nice asset to own. I'll also say Tarkowski had a pretty nice return if you were able to have any of the Everton defenders. I think Tarkowski hit DEFCON again. He had the clean sheet, another 10-point haul for him as well. So overall, nice little return for Everton. With that win, don't look now, but Everton are now sitting in 10th place. 10th place with 21 points. I know you said it last week too. The difference between 15th place in the table and 5th, I think right now is only a 6-point difference. If we're not a math pod, but so
Yeah.
it's tight. It's tight for sure. But good for Everton. They got that new stadium,
Especially after the last few years when they've been basically relegation battle
right?
for
Yeah,
a significant amount of games. To have 21
yeah.
points through 14, like they gotta be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. All those teams that are below them, especially that one right beneath them, pretty
Yeah.
bad. Speaking of teams that are below them, one of the teams below them played a thriller. Fulham. Fulham played City in an absolute thriller. A tale of two halves, really.
Yeah.
City jumped out to, what was it, 3-0 at half, I want to say it was. Let me see if I can get the game log up here.
It's 3-0, and then Fulham pulled one back in the 45th plus 2,
Yeah,
followed by another 2 City goals. So it was 5-1 in the 54th minute.
right. Right. So, yeah, Holland opened up the scoring, which was nice for Holland owners. Saw a few folks, I want to say. Oh no, sorry, not this week with triple captain, but lot of Holland captaincy this week. So if you were one of them who kind of stick to the set it and forget it, you enjoyed seeing that. But Holland had his goal. Reinders, who I think a lot of folks had moved on, but he's still in that. I think he's at 5-4 right now, 5-6. Don't quote me on that, somewhere in that range. But he's back in the score sheet. And then Foden, stayed hot, right? He got his goal right before half. So to your point, they went into half 3-1. I think the Smith Rowe scored in the 45th plus 2, like you mentioned. Foden comes out right after half in the 48th, gets his second goal, and Holland's got a couple assists there. So now he's got a goal and 2 assists. So it's really the Holland and Foden show. But then Iwobi, Chukwueze, they come back and score a couple. They make it very interesting, and it's an own goal that really puts City over the top. We talked about it last episode. It feels like City in the second half of games, their defense starts to waver a little bit. Is that by skill set? Is that by design flaw. I don't know what it is, but like for a team like Fulham to basically just kind of take it to City in the second half. I mean, if we look at the actual stats, first half City dominated. At least in terms of his expected goals. Fulham, they were able to hold their possession and whatnot. But I mean, in the second half, it was, Fulham had almost 2/3 the possession. City really couldn't hold on to the ball. Is that a matter of, Fulham just kind of imposing themselves? So, I mean, what do you think's going on here?
I still think it's the midfield. The City's midfield is not the same dominant midfield that we've seen in the past. Right? They even after Iwobi scored, it was 5-2. They bring on John Stones for Nico Gonzalez and Sabinho for Doku. Is that really the pairing that is gonna, lock you down for the rest of the game? I don't think so, especially not with Rodri in there.
Mm,
So it's like, yeah, they still have you still have Holland, you still have Foden in there, and Bernardo Silva, who's the timeless wonder. But I don't know. It's just not like the days of old where you could bring on a prime Grealish as a sub for 30 minutes or a prime Foden for 30 minutes after KDB has just been dominating the midfield for the whole game,
mm.
you know? So I have to think that's where the breakdown's coming from. But then again, I mean, Donnarumma hasn't been great. And even City's back line, going back to last season, like we said, hasn't been great. So I think there's blame all around, but part of me still thinks that it starts in the midfield and they just don't have the depth of quality that I think we're used to seeing come on. And I don't even know if it's lack of quality. Maybe it's a quality, but maybe it's just that they just haven't had the same game time, right? Like you bring it on
Well,
Cherky, he's an attacker. He's not going to win you the game possession wise and take the life out of Fulham. You're down 3. If they just held the ball and did what they're used to, you'd think that would have put it away. But those aren't the players that they're bringing on.
yeah, you might be onto something. I'm not sure what's going on. I mean, there's no doubt though that Pep has been deploying kind of the same lineup now. We talk about Pep Roulette all the time, but as long as I can remember, that back line of O'Reilly, Guardiola, Diaz, Nunez. I mean, they have seemingly gotten a pretty good run together with Donnarumma back there now for I think at least since what game week 4 or 5. So they've gone
Yeah.
pretty good run together. They should have some pretty decent continuity building amongst them. Obviously, we know the impact Rodri can have on that squad compared to Nico Gonzalez. With Kovacic down, with Rodri still kind of having that lack of fitness. It looks like he might just be a matter of days or maybe a week or 2 away. But that being said, City's only 5 points back right now, right? Like we've seen this
Yeah.
script play out before.
True.
I'm not going to rule them out, right? Like I think Pep was just on an interview the last couple of days. He's like, the season is very long, and he just kept saying the season is so long. Like you don't want to be playing your best football now. You want to be playing it in March, April when you can really make a push. The point right now is just to kind of stay, build, get better, and then, stay healthy so that you can really make a push in the end. So maybe this is just kind of a part of their method. I don't know.
And I think to that point, I think Foden coming alive now is really huge for him because the beginning of the season, everything was going through Holland. They needed that. They really need more than just Foden too, but they needed somebody else to step up to be the goal scorer when Holland can't score a hat trick a game.
He comes alive in the nighttime. Fun fact, I believe, I'm not positive, but I believe this is a fun fact, so we'll call it a fun kind of fact. Bernardo Silva, I believe, has named his dog John Stones. I think I saw that.
Is that seems like an insult.
He and Johnny Boy have
What kind of dog is it? I think
I think it's like a little dog. I don't think it's
that's
like
not
a,
good. That's not good.
yeah, no, I
Little
think they have
yapper.
I think they're very good buds, but I think it's kind of like like I'm your master kind of thing, like I own you. Like I don't know. There's maybe a little bit of playfulness going on there. But and Jim, we forgot to mention this is another mega app because we have another deadline 2
Yeah,
days away.
that's true.
So buckle up. We're gonna be here for a little bit. We'll try to get through it though. Moving on, right? We've got our next fixture. I mean, where do we
Tough one
start with
here.
this one? This is a tough one.
Newcastle 2, Spurs 2. A point that Spurs probably didn't deserve.
Well,
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 it's tough. Right. So Guimaraes scores a nice one in the 71st minute, assisted by Voltemade. He continues his nice form. Followed by a Romero goal in the 78th minute, assisted by Kudus. So Kudus still clinging on to relevancy. Then 10 minutes later, Anthony Gordon with a penalty himself. Interestingly enough, Voltemade is still on the field at the time. So maybe a little penalty controversy there coming up. But then in the 95th minute, Christian Romero with his double, an overhead kick to salvage the point. So the two Tottenham goals were superb, and Romero,
I,
everything superb.
well, do you want to know what I wrote down in my notes?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So my notes on the Newcastle goal, specifically the penalty, was Newcastle got awarded the softest penalty of the whole season. Because it was brutal. I mean, go back and watch the tape. I don't know how they're actually calling that a penalty. And then my note on Romero's, you called it an overhead goal. I wrote it down as Romero bails out Spurs in stoppage time with a hideous attempt at a bicycle kick because it hit off his shin. Like it
What
kind
does
of
that
like
matter?
went through a couple of people. Well,
You
you
think
said it was.
you think the Rooney goal off his shin wasn't a nice goal?
Well, I mean,
You think
you're just
Bale's
the way
Champions League winner wasn't a nice goal? Was it a
those were
winner?
beautiful. Those had some pace on it. This just kind of like missed every person that it kind of went. I feel like it was one of those ones where it was dinked perfectly, where like everyone's like, "Oh, well, it's just not in my path. I can't touch it." Like, I don't know. It counts the same. I'm not upset that it went in. It just was like a very Spursy goal, I guess. You know, they all count the same.
Goal's a
So
goal. Either way.
yeah,
Uh,
I
yeah,
had one other thing written down on this
Spurs
one
still
too.
don't look great. Their midfield is bad. I'll let you go because you might
Well,
be trying to.
the only other thing I had written down, well, I wanted to play a game with you really quick. We love games. Jim, I'd like you to answer this as in like we're playing Jeopardy. How many shots on target did Spurs have in the first half of this game? You buzz in?
Yes. What is 0?
That would be correct. But you're wrong because you didn't wager anything. So you get it wrong.
That's a wager when you're buzzing
This
in.
this is
That's Final Jeopardy.
Well, I assumed we were in Final Jeopardy because it's the last question. This is concerning. What is he doing out there? Like, what is his game plan? I feel that, like, he's still in this, like, Brentford headspace where he is so used to not having the quality to play to his team's strength, where week in, week out, he feels he has to go in and plan for, okay, how can I disrupt the other team's strength? Where now he's at a big club. He's at a club where he has not like, Arsenal quality players, but he doesn't have Brentford quality players. He has a squad that should be able to create and build an identity, have a strength, and play to it and impose that on their opponents. And he's not playing that. He's still kind of like every week changing of game plans. There's reports that players are getting frustrated with this, that like they don't know week to week what their role is in the squad. Like this is concerning. This is not
Yeah.
good.
I think you got it there. I think he's trying to neutralize the opposition more than optimizing our players. And it's causing our players to not get playing time, not play together consistently. And he's just not playing Zabi. Like it makes no sense.
Yeah, the lineup.
Bentancur should not be starting. It should be Bergvall and Paulinho sitting
Yeah,
deep. Javi Kudus, Brennan Johnson, and then whoever we could salvage as a
yeah.
striker up top.
At least until Kulusevski is healthy. And then, if yeah, I'd like to see us in a 4-3-3 personally. The 4-2-3-1, I feel like doesn't create enough space in the midfield for, what we need to do. But, whatever. We don't need to get into tactics right now. But yeah, there's no creativity. It's a lot of back passing. It's a lot of, put the ball down the wing and try to just put a cross in. Sure, there's maybe
But
some.
nobody's making runs.
No one's making the run. You can only do so much from corners and set plays. You can only how many corners did they get in the first half? Sorry, all game. They had 8 corners. I mean, you're not going to score 8 goals. You might convert one of those. They had one big chance all game. They had 2 shots on target all game. Like what are we even talking about here? So
They got to figure it out. They got to figure out a lineup and stick to it. Give them
yeah,
some time.
yeah. But
All right, moving on to Wednesday, a team that does have it together. Arsenal 2, Brentford 0. I think they're back to their winning ways.
Firing
Mourinho
on all cylinders.
with another goal. Assisted by Ben White after we called him out for starting as a striker last week. And then Saka scores in the 91st minute, assisted by Mourinho again. So big day for Mourinho and Saka coming off the bench to score. Interesting lineup here. Calafiori is the only starting defenseman to get the
This
nod.
lineup killed me.
Yeah, Rice comes off injured too.
This lineup absolutely killed me. Well, we'll get into our team selections and whatnot, but I really, really thought there was going to be quite a bit of rotation for Mikel and his Gunners in this game, especially knowing who their next opponent was going to be, that being in Villa, and their opponent after being Wolves. So, maybe this is the curse of being a Spurs fan, and this is probably why we don't win enough trophies, because we try to target fixtures where we can maybe try to take it easy. Whereas at the good teams, they just try to win every single game, and that's probably why they have more success. But recently, at least. But not what you want. But yeah, nice to see them get back to their winning ways. I will say, just on Brentford's side, Chicago didn't start in this one. He did come on eventually. I honestly, I know we talked a little bit about in the last game, there was talks that he came off for an injury. I don't think he came off for an injury. I think they're just kind of trying to monitor his minutes, lots of games. So
Yeah.
I think he came off clean in this one.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, routine win. Not much else to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. So moving
Next
on.
game, another Goalapalooza. Brighton 3, Villa 4. Brighton opened it up with a Jean-Paul Van Heck goal and then a Pau Torres own goal before Ollie Watkins, the masked man, scores 2 in the 37th and 40th minute. Villa get another goal by Onana in the 60th, and then a Daniel Melen goal in the 78th, followed by another Jean-Paul Van Heck goal in the 83rd. But that's about it. So I knew Spurs, not Spurs, obviously not Spurs.
We're done talking about those
I knew
losers.
Villa had been playing well, but when I saw them in third place, I was kind of shocked. I couldn't believe they've had like such a sneaky good season, because I think the storyline has really been Watkins hasn't been himself, obviously until today, he scored a brace, but 27 points, pretty good. They just snuck right in.
They snuck right in there. So okay, before we get into Villa, let's spend a couple minutes on Brighton. I know you might not want to, but a couple things stuck out to me here. I want to give you a chance to put some love on your boy Minta. No real return here, to get the full 90, but ever since you expressed your love for him, I think he's blanked twice.
Hey, listen,
So
he had 79% accurate passing, 3 chances created. I mean, he had, 0.18 expected assists. What more do you want from a young Gambanian man?
yeah, that's really all you can ask for. The other thing here, so Danny Welbeck obviously did not start, but this is the second game in a row where Maxime de Kuiper started
Mhm.
up on the left wing as a forward.
Yeah,
We checked last week; he was still priced as a 4.5 mil defender. Was he
yep,
4.4? Was it
yep,
4.5?
4, I believe.
No, he was 4.5. I don't believe he was down to 4. Let me double check. 4.3. Sorry. Overselling him. If he is actually going to be starting, I mean, this was a short turnaround too. So are we seeing something from Fabian here? Is he kind of showing us his hand that maybe he's found his new left wing? I don't know. I don't know. Matoma's obviously still injured.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I
Matoma's
think that
out.
would be his position.
I think Solly March is the only other one that could be potential rival.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
hard to
Jorginho
tell.
Rudder, but they're also both injured, so it
Yeah.
might be worth a shot.
So might be. Yeah. If you've
Because even if he doesn't keep playing up top, chances are he'll probably just slide back at the left back spot.
It's possible. Yeah, it feels like Kadioglu. I'm probably messing that up. I feel like he had kind of taken over that role from him, and then Brighton kind of found their form. So, or their form is mid, but I don't know. So, but that did stick out to me, and I just wanted to make sure we pointed that out.
Pointed.
But moving back over to Villa, oh, you got anything else on them? Moving back over to Villa. So Rogers did have another assist. I want to make sure we point that out. he's quietly now, if we go over to his player profile on the season, he is now have 3 goals and 3 assists on the season, kind of quietly having a nice little run here over the last few game weeks. That's, let's see, 2 goals in his last 4, 2 assists in his last 4, and he had that assist, kind of a while ago. So, I mean, a lot of his form recently. And then, yeah, you mentioned Malin again. We joke because I feel like I talked him up at the beginning of the season, and a lot of folks did. It's not like I pulled that one out of completely left field. I think it was always just a matter of if he was actually going to get the minutes. He seems like he's getting the minutes, even in smaller batches, and he's still getting the returns. I think he's priced at 5.1 right now. Is that what we were looking at the other day?
Yeah.
I mean, at 5.1,
Don't even say it because you told me not to.
I don't know if I love it. I'm gonna be honest, because if like Watkins starting right now and getting a brace, I don't know how Emery doesn't go back to it.
True. That's true. Even
Like,
John McGinn seemingly he's always in there. I feel like he's never gonna have dropped.
I just don't understand why Emmy Buendia, like, he has the number 10. Why are you not starting him? Like, that's very confusing to me. I mean, we've even seen, well, yeah, it's very strange to me why Ali hasn't really gotten the minutes this season. I'm not aware of any major injuries.
I don't know. But who are we to question? I mean, they're in third place.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't care about their table position. I'm trying to figure out for FPL. Like, Ollie Watkins is a pretty fairly premium. I mean, I shouldn't say premium, but he's not a cheap
Yeah.
forward.
It'd be good to have another forward option that's reliable.
Right. I mean, he's been a good option, but he hasn't been a great option for his price. So I don't know. Watkins just may have made his case a little bit, but we'll see. He's got to get the minutes. He's got to get more minutes. All right. Moving on here. I mean, Palace, kind of just classic, right? Nice little 1-0 win. Not really much to show here from Burnley.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Palace, big points in the back. Munoz with the goal, Gahey with the assist, plus a clean sheet. So they each got 14 points, and Richards got 9. So nice job for Hot Sauce FC. He had all 3 of those. That's a hell of a back line.
Who did he have? He had Gahey, LaCroix,
Munoz, and Richards.
Jeez, that's all.
Yeah. That's basically my
Boom,
points for the week.
Damn. Good for you. Well, not you, but for Hot Sauce.
Not me.
But
yeah, I mean, really nothing else to talk here. Sar was out, so Kamada got the start. Mateta blank, so tough there for Mateta owners, but House has been good in the back all year. What are you going to say?
yeah, it's nice to be good in the back. Mateta coming off after the 64th minute. Nketiah coming on for him. I feel like, if I'm being honest, I feel like Mateta's a little worn out. I don't know if he has. I don't want to say he doesn't have the fitness, but I just feel like
Sounds like that's exactly what you just said.
I'm kind of saying that. Yeah, I guess that's exactly what I'm saying.
He's only 28.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a tough game. It's a tough game. These are a quick turnaround. I mean, he doesn't have. You look at the players that are around him. I mean, it's Kamada, Pino. I mean, if your goal's coming from Munoz and Mitchell, he's kind of a one-man show up there. But he's not Holland,
I was surprised that they took off Mateta and Pino to bring on Nketiah. Like, you'd think when they need a goal, you'd bring Nketiah on for Kamada so that their 3 best attackers could be on the field.
Right. Shout out to Justin Devaney. That's a blast from the past. Yeah. That's and Burnley just kind of showing why they're 19th in the table. They had a nice little run to start the season, but I was just glad Dubravka started.
All right, moving on to the next
on
one.
that one?
Yeah, no.
I had a good analogy for this one. Kind of like anyone who's basically playing Wolves. It's kind of like when you're playing Monopoly, right? When you just you pass go, you collect your, what is it, $200 or whatever it is, and it's just like you basically collect your 3 points and keep going. Forest, they did what they were supposed to do. They scored their goal, clean sheet. That's it. There's nothing to talk about here.
Yeah, let's move on then to a more exciting game.
Yeah,
one that I'm thrilled to see the result of. Leeds 3, Chelsea 1.
What happened here?
gets his goal for those of the owners that have kept him and stayed faithful. But then the unexpected trio of Xhaka Bajol, Ayo Tanaka, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin each score for Leeds. Heck of a game.
Did you watch this game?
I did not, but I did appreciate all the memes of Chelsea's title run lasting for 3 days.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah,
you?
I did not watch this game. I think I was working. I don't know what I was doing.
It was a
It's
Wednesday.
probably yeah, it was a midweek game. Yeah, I was actually shocked to see this scoreline. I think I was even more surprised to see it was DCL who put the nail in the coffin. 2-1, you think maybe they can salvage a point. These midweek games, I think you have to just kind of be prepared for anything. I don't really know what to make of why, but I think you look at, like João Pedro, not a great showing. Personally, I have moved on from him, so I felt good that, he blanked. Caicedo obviously missing out from this one. Enzo with a blank here. So, yeah, this was a game, I think, on paper, a lot of Chelsea asset owners were probably pretty excited for. I know for myself, at least, I had a Leeds defender, and I actually moved them out. And when it was sitting, 2-0 for a little bit, I was a little bit upset that I did that. But luckily, the Pedro Neto goal at least did kind of give me a little bit of a hedge.
Yeah, I think the only other thing that Chelsea fans should be excited
Yep,
about, or
say it,
really FPL
say it.
fans, Cole Palmer coming back. He got 30 minutes, so
Yeah,
he definitely is needed, I'd say, for some consistency on there.
just in time for your 5 AFCON transfers.
Very true.
Yeah, if he can hold off on some of those hand jibbers and keep that groin, intact
That's the thing. I think we said after the last time he got injured, though, we can't bring him in right away because I fell into that trap, and he came back, and
with
then
the hand jibbers.
he came back and got injured the next game.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he got 30 minutes here. I would say, probably too early to bring him in. Let him get a full 90, or at least a full 60, 70.
Are we talking about jibbers or the game?
Good God.
Oh boy. No, I agree with you though fully. For him to get 40 minutes here or so, you like to see that. Now with the quick turnaround, I don't think they're gonna necessarily throw him right back out there. But maybe he'll get 45, maybe he'll get 60 minutes. I wouldn't expect him to go 90.
Yeah,
But
they play again on Tuesday for Champions Leagues.
okay,
It's got
yeah,
busy period.
yeah. I'd love to see him get back in form. I mean, he was my preseason. I predicted he was gonna have a complete breakout, break that 300-point barrier. He was gonna have like a Salah-esque season, and it's been far from it. He hasn't even had a chance.
He could still hit 300, no?
He would have to go on quite the run at this point. It's hard when you miss a third of the season, but
Yeah.
not impossible. All right, and then that brings us to the next game, Liverpool against Sunderland. We said last week, no Salah, no problem. I think this game week, it's no Salah again, which was very surprising, but no Salah. Slot definitely has a problem.
Yeah.
They didn't even score a goal. They benefited from an own goal, which, I mean, if you saw the goal, Verts almost got credit for his first goal, but it was clearly a deflection. So they
Yeah.
ultimately did the right thing, and they kicked the man while he's still down, which I loved.
Poor guy.
Oh, stop
Not
it.
poor.
These
Very
grown men
wealthy.
play a kid's game. I don't want to hear it. What do you think? I mean, Salah's got to be it.
I don't even know
I'm
what
kicking myself. I'm kicking myself so hard.
you kept him, right?
I kept him because there was images that he was leaving, that like Slot basically gave him the okay to go a little early to go train with the Egyptian squad. And then Slot basically came out in the presser, I think it was on Monday, and said that I was going to stick around until the 15th of December, and then he was going to leave.
Right. I think the Premier League said that teams can keep them until the 15th.
Yeah.
So he
So
still
when
could have
Slot
gotten
said he
let
was
go.
gonna stick around, yes, exactly. But I felt like if you were gonna keep him around, you may as well play him. Like what are you keeping him around for? Because if you're keeping him around to train, well, he can go train with his country. He doesn't need to train with the team if he's not playing. So I ultimately decided to keep him in my squad this week when that news came out, and I was very shocked to see that he did not start. Did not start. So I don't know. Maybe this is the beginning of the end for Salah. It feels like Slot's kind of making a stand here.
I think if he goes to AFCON, looks great, with Egypt, he'll come back and probably get back in the squad. I think if he goes and it's the same Salah that we've seen, not making the runs, kind of doing his own thing, and I could see it continuing.
I've had the runs before.
Yeah, you have, and maybe that works its way into a January transfer. If it's that bad coming out of AFCON, you proud of yourself for that?
Just a little.
We are four people's top 5 podcasts, and this is what
I
you're doing?
People love our banter. Yeah, no,
Yeah, no.
yeah, yeah. I'm very curious what's gonna happen because if they continue to lose, I don't think Slot has a choice, even if he doesn't do well in AFCON. I mean, it's not like they're gonna go and spend a ton in the January window to bring a bunch of new players in. They just spent
Yeah.
$1 billion.
Yeah.
I mean, where like the Coutinho money is gonna dry up eventually, right? It has to. So at a certain point, it can't just be on Slot. I mean, they have, quote, the world's best striker. They've got, this Verth boy here. They've got the core of the same team that just won the title last season with the same manager. It does fall on the players to a certain extent.
I think before they admit that, they will. It's not.
But,
You can't spend that much
oh,
on that many players in one off season and then blame the players. I think they're
yeah.
gonna cut Slot before they admit defeat and sell anybody.
I would agree with you there because I don't think they can continue to make Salah the scapegoat because that I feel like is basically what the last 2 games. I think that is kind of what the narrative is starting to become is that Salah's been holding us back. Look at Verts, look how much better he's looked, starting out on the right and how much more fluid he's looked and more free he's looked and look, he almost scored his first goal today, all this kind of, bullshit.
Almost scored his first goal.
Yeah, I almost won the lotto because I drove by the gas station today. It's like, so yeah, it's interesting. I'm very excited to sell Salah. I cannot wait.
Are you gonna do it this week or are you gonna wait?
They have Sunderland this week. Oh, no. That was this week. Who are they playing this week?
Leeds.
They have Leeds. I mean, why would he play him now? I feel like if they were gonna release him after game week, if they were gonna release him after game week 15, why would they play him? Like as a service to his national team,
They don't give
why
a
would they
fuck
risk
about the
injury?
national team. They need
Yeah,
points.
no,
They're
but
in ninth
Salah,
place.
yeah, but Salah's done enough for that team, for that club, that like out of.
I don't think they care about that.
I hear you, but like, okay, so what place are they in right now? They're in ninth, you
Ninth.
said?
They have
Yeah,
20.
so they're 3 points out of Champions League qualification. The title's probably out of hand.
I think it's more the expectations were so high. They won the title. The team on paper got so much better. They started out 5 wins, and now they've just looked dreadful. 7 points from
Brutal.
9 games.
That's Spurs. Spurs don't even do that. Spurs are like way worse.
Yeah, we'll see. I think a lot's going to depend on how Salah looks with Egypt. And really, maybe Slot won't even be there when he gets back.
You were right on the Salah benching. Maybe you're right on the Slot firing. What about your boy Isak? I mean, you've had him in your squad now for a couple weeks. How do you think he's looked?
Well, he scored last week.
That's true. You holding on to him?
I am. I brought Gakpo in this week too, so I was hoping there would be goals and they'd play off each other and I could double up there, but obviously that didn't happen. He came off at the half for Salah, but once Salah's gone, I think they won't really have that opportunity. I think the two of them are really going to be. It's really Ekatike is the only other one that's going to be pushing.
Yeah.
I mean, I
I
don't
think
think
Ekatike is injured right now, right?
I thought he came on this week, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he did. Okay, he came back. You're right.
Right. I could see him taking a starting spot. I can't see Chiesa starting over either of them. I could see,
Not with that price tag. No.
yeah, I could see him getting 30 minutes if either of them blank, but I think their starting spot in the coming future is going to be locked. So I'm going to stick with both of those.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm rooting for you. I mean, you need Isak to be that guy because I don't think
I do.
anybody has him.
I do.
You need him to be him. Anything else from this one? Anything on the Sunderland side?
No, I mean, I'm proud of him.
Stadium light, rocking.
Who's not
That
rocking?
brings us
Yeah.
to
United
The
won,
last
West Ham
fixture of the
won.
week.
This is one we said they should have really
They should have really just
killed him.
creamed him, you
Should have,
know,
Bruno had his chance to get back into form and really,
like tie him to the radiator and just like grape him, you know.
but they do salvage a point. Diego Dalot gets the goal in the 58th minute,
Oh, the Portuguese.
tied up in the 83rd by Sangutu Magasa. I think I got that. He's French? Interesting. But yeah, so ends one. I think you put it in the notes there that United's metrics and expected goals continue to look good. They just
They did. They
can't
look
put them
phenomenal.
away.
You know, it's like they just can't finish. I don't know. I mean, I think they have pills for that, but you know, I feel like it's one of those things where we brought in, or I know I at least brought in Bumo, and it's like the curse. You know, it's like the curse of when the host or the commentator starts talking about the player, and then they just start going to shit. You know, as soon as we started noticing, you know, oh, okay, he's got a good run, he's had a good form of you know, he's been in good form. They've got some good fixtures coming up, and then they just fall off. Shout out
Right.
to FPL Black Lab. I know he triple captain Bruno Fernandez today. Unfortunately, didn't work out. We feel your pain. I was really hoping for at least a brace from Bumo, and it didn't happen. Didn't happen today. So yeah, United, you know, they could have moved up to fifth. They could have been fifth place, which, you know, we think back to some of our early conversations. We talked about them being, you know, like Glasner coming for Amarim's job a few weeks ago, well, a few months ago, I guess now, and they have seemed to right the ship. But this was like a page out of the old book.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I can't imagine United fans are happy with where they are. I mean, it's better than where they were last season. So you have to think that's a start. But at the same time, Amarim kept his job, but he really hasn't made that final, gotten over that last hurdle to get the team clicking. I mean, he's still starting Xerxes up top.
Well, I mean, how much of that is just injury, though? You know, I mean, if they had won this game, they would have been on, let's see, 24 points. They would have been in fifth. I said that. Yeah. So what more could you ask if you're a United fan, honestly?
Yeah, true.
You know,
Well,
they've
they're
got
tied
Wolves
with, they're
coming up
tied with
next.
Liverpool at the moment, head of them on goal differential. So
Yeah.
you're up on your rivals. You're better than last season. You're not going to win the title. It is what it is. But I don't know. They got to just start putting some of these chances away.
For our sake, because we need these players,
Absolutely.
you know? And, you know, Mbomo's another one who's going to be leaving for AFCON. It would have been nice to see Bruno maybe, you know, put a couple away to give managers another option. I think right now, the clearest option for me is probably Foden, you know, if you're looking to maybe make a move off of Mbomo. But,
Or Palmer.
you know, well, I just funds wise, you know, if you,
Yeah.
you know, but you'll have lots of money to move. Speaking of Foden, player of the week. Phill Foden, 17 points, 2 goals, no clean sheet. Did get the 12 DEFCON too, so not just an attacking threat. You know, he's involved. I've got the 3 bonus points in 90 minutes. Also, Mega Ep. We have 2 players of the week. Christian Romero, Cuti Romero, 17 points as well. He also had 2 goals as a defender, but he did have 2 goals conceded in a yellow card. He had 12 DEFCON and 3 bonus points, so you know he netted out with a 17-pointer. If he could just maybe, you know, control that temper of his, maybe he would have had a little bit of higher points.
Is that 4? That's 4 for him on the season, I think.
No, he just served his match suspension, so that's it reset. Yeah, that's why Danzo was in there on the last one because Romero he's hot headed. As far as flops go, I mean, we've basically hit on everyone. I think it's Salah. I think it's Bruno Fernandes. I think it's Mbuemo. Anyone else, you know, maybe that we didn't mention? I don't like to usually include players that didn't play. You know, like Welbeck and Thiago. Are they flops?
Yeah.
Nah, I mean,
I would just say Mateta
okay.
didn't look
Okay.
great. Got subbed off at 60. You think he's overweight and out of shape? I don't think so.
He's big boned for sure. I mean, I wouldn't want to like run into him in like a panaria or anything like that. You know, like if we were in line getting a loaf of French bread, I think he'd kick my ass. You know,
Okay.
what? Do you think Isak's maybe making his way into this conversation? You know,
No, I don't think there's any expectations on him because he's been so bad.
you don't think the most expensive transfer, the best striker in the world, doesn't have any expectations on him?
Not FPL expectations. Nobody's expecting him to score when he hasn't. He scored 1 goal. maybe 2.
He scored 1 in FPL.
I don't think he's flop worthy because I think the expectations are so low. Yes, there's an expectation that he's going to score, but his
That's
form
interesting.
is such that he can't be a flop. Nobody's expecting a goal.
I think during this AFCON run, I think he's got to be viewed as Liverpool's main attacking threat. And I guess if you want to take his ownership into account, maybe just because we have the numbers in front of us, what is his ownership at right now? His ownership right now, so he's priced at 10.4. His ownership is only at 5%. So maybe he's not owned enough to really be considered a flop. But I would maybe open the argument that this is a guy that he's a premium forward.
True. Yeah, maybe the price tag itself is enough, but I don't know.
It's not about the
I think
money,
of flops as
money.
somebody that you're really considering a captain, or you're bringing in for a specific game.
Didn't you just captain him?
No, I captain Buemo.
You're just smiling because you're happy to see me.
All right,
Talking
team
through
of the
the
week.
rest of the players of the week. Yeah, so rounding out the rest of the team, we had good old Dean Henderson with the 7-pointer for Palace. We talked about Cuti Romero. Diego Dalot over at United with a 15-pointer with his goal. Mark Gahey and Munoz over at Palace with 14 points, chipping in. Ben White over at Arsenal with a 14-pointer as well. We mentioned Phil Foden and Holland with 17 points and 14 points respectively for City. Your boy Mikel Merino over at Arsenal with his 13-point with his goal. Ollie Watkins with 13 points with his brace over at Villa. And Chukwueze with 12 points with his goals over at Fulham. That team, if you had all of those players, scored 150 points. If you had all of them, you're incredible. You would have buried Jim. You would have buried Jim this week. You would have buried most of us, honestly. No
115
disrespect to
points.
Jim.
I'm not-
150. That's
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
if you
points.
could afford this squad, though. This might be the first one that's close.
Munoz is pretty high. Gahey's at 5.1. Romero's in the 5 range. Yeah, I think you still could.
I think you still could because White is not a starter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, there's the
Fun.
yeah, and on the other side, if you had none of these players, it's okay. You can try again next time. Maybe next time you go, there's little opportunities, sometimes there's like medium opportunities, sometimes there's like really big opportunities,
Those are the best
sometimes
ones.
I really love things that are big. What about you, Jimbo?
As do I. And this episode is actually brought to you by the Big Salad. Not just a salad, the salad. The centerpiece of confusion. The ultimate gesture of ambiguous generosity that leaves everyone involved asking the same existential question. Who paid for it? Look, we all know the situation. You're out at lunch, someone orders a salad, maybe a small Caesar, but then it arrives. The Big Salad. It's a behemoth. It's got size, the volume, the density. It demands respect. It's got every lettuce, every vegetable, and maybe even a hard-boiled egg. It's an architectural marvel delivered in a giant bowl, and it costs $8.25. Now the question isn't what in the Big Salad. The question is, if somebody hands it to you, are they being a great friend? Are they trying to pay you back for something? Or are they quietly telling you that they're going to start keeping track of every single thing they've ever done for you? When you order the Big Salad, you're not just ordering lunch, you're starting a conversation that will last 2 weeks and involve complex mathematics, emotional debt, and maybe a little screaming. So go ahead, order the Big Salad. Show your friends that you care, or at least that you're willing to spend slightly more money on a large, leafy meal than they are. Find a deli near you and get your own colossal confusion today. And be sure the cashier knows the difference between a small salad and the Big Salad. Use code TINKER at checkout for no discount whatsoever. Because with the Big Salad, nothing is ever free. The Big Salad. It was a big salad, a big one.
Oh, man, that's a shitty discount. Man,
It was
that's
a
brutal.
big salad, a big one is a really good sign off.
Use the code for no discount whatsoever. That's the best. That is the best one I think we've ever had. I don't know. These sponsors, man, they're really cheaping out, and these tariffs must be just killing them. Well, okay, so we talked about the league and the slate of games. Let's get into our scores. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. All right.
So I'm sitting on 41 points yet again, sub 50. Petrovic in goal. Timber with 1. He didn't get the start. Esteve actually got subbed on for me for Van de Ven, so he got 4 points for me, and then Roden with 2. Like I said, I brought in Dewsbury Hall with 3 points, so missed out on a Mellon goal there. Brandon Buemo, who I instead of shipping out for Bruno. But then again, the captain's banned, hoping that some of that Bruno goodwill would rub up on him, but nothing there. So 4 points out of Mbemo as my captain. Gakpo, who I also brought in, he only got 1. He got subbed out for half for Salah. But really, I was saved by Saka coming in as a super sub and scoring a goal there. Isak and Mateta up top got me 2 each, and then Holland, who is my vice captain, got me 14. So really, really tough. I was actually kind of hoping that Mbeumo would not play, and then I would get my captaincy moved on to Holland, and then Stock come off my bench for 6 points. So if I listened to myself, I would have kept Stock, brought Mellon in. So you kind of screwed me, but I'll forgive you. 41 points.
Did you beat the average?
I did not beat the average, but I beat the
Oh, that's good. Hey, that's really all that matters. It's okay. It's okay.
Nope.
You know? Yeah, so I scored 66 points. So I did beat the average of 58. I definitely had a chance to score higher. I made some bad choices as well. I had Dubravka in goal, so I only got 2 points there. I started Dorgu. Well, I didn't start Dorgu. I'll walk through it. I had Reynildo, 4 points, who came on. Chris Richards, 9 points. Dorgu gave me a point as a sub as well. Salah gave me a point with his 45 minutes. Bumo gave me his 2 points. Pedro Neto gave me his 6 points with his goal. Kudus gave me his 7 points with his goal. Holland gave me 28 with his captaincy and his goals and assists. Thiago gave me his point for his minutes and his appearance, and Voltamata gave me 5 points for his assists. So my transfer this week ended up being, I tried to go differential, so I ended up moving out Joe Roden, because as I mentioned, I didn't like the Leeds' next 2 fixtures. I didn't like them, and I really was trying to get into the Arsenal's defense, and the only player that I could afford was Miles Lewis-Skelly. And my thought process was short game week, rotation. Calafiori was sitting on 4 reds. So I thought that Arteta was going to use this game, or yellows. Yes, thank you. He was going to use this game as a chance to sit Calafiori, play Lewis-Skelly, so that Calafiori could be available for the Villa game. And then if Calafiori did get a yellow in that game, Lewis-Skelly would then play the game against Wolves, which would follow the Villa game. So I guess it's still to be determined if the Lewis-Skelly pick ends up giving me anything, but it definitely has not worked out thus far. So kind of overthought it a little bit, tried to get creative. I absolutely could have just gone straight to Marquehi. They were both priced at 5-1. That was probably the move.
Kind of wild.
Yeah, kind of wild.
I love a good differential.
Yeah.
You were convinced.
It felt like the right move. I really felt like coming off of Arsenal's game, the other week, like they were going to come back, they were going to have a clean sheet, they were going to respond to their piss poor performance against Chelsea the other game week, and they did. But I will never understand the inner workings of Mikel Arteta's brain. Clearly, so I should stop trying to. But overall, good game week, 66 points. Lots of 1-pointers. Hopefully we'll try to do better next week. Moving on to the AI. So the AI for Tinkerton scored 40 points. So Tinkerton made 2 transfers this week. I think we mentioned them. That's really bad, yeah. I think we mentioned them on the last episode, but just for reminders, the AI recommended to transfer out Michael Keane and Danny Welbeck and bring in Totti, who's a defender over at Wolves, and Muniz, who is an attacker forward over at Fulham, who is actually injured probably through January. So a player that's not even in consideration or in contention to get any minutes. 40 points, started Sanchez in goal, gave him a point, Chelsea keeper. Pedro Porro, Jordan Timber, each a point apiece. I did get 9 points from Chris Richards, 8 points from Doku. Bruno Fernandes gave him 4. Kudus gave him 7. Captain Mo Salah gave him 2. Semenyo gave him 4. Evan Nilsson gave him 1. João Pedro gave him 2. No subs came on. So, yeah, really, really a great week to take advantage of the AI being a dumbass with its ridiculous transfers. Yeah, the AI really whiffed on this one this week. But that's okay.
We needed
score 1 for the humans. Score 1 for the humans. Yeah. Any other thoughts on Lord Tinkerton this week, Jimbo?
No, I'm interested to see what he does, and I think I need to start using my moves more strategically based on what he's doing, because I can't keep losing to him. I think he's got like 30 points on me still.
He still has all of his chips too, so they might start deploying some.
I'm now 37 points to him.
Oh my lord. Speaking of new
Oh.
picks, so our captain's draft, just kind of keeping track. So Jimbo, you selected Bruno Fernandez last week. I
I
selected
did.
Saka. As I mentioned, Bruno Fernandez scored 4 points, and Saka, with his late goal, ended up pulling 6 points. So that brings our point totals for the week thus far. Jim, you have scored 12 points, and I have scored 21. Not that we're keeping track.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's just like reverse. All right, so I think that pretty much does it for Game Week 14. We'll move into Game Week 15 now. So deadline for Game Week 15 is Saturday, December 6th at 6 a.m. Eastern. So kind of a normal
Early start. Love it.
weekend deadline. 7:30 game. Nice fixture to kick things off. Villa hosting Arsenal. We've got Bournemouth playing Chelsea, Everton playing Forest, City hosting Sunderland, Newcastle hosting Burnley, Spurs hosting Brentford, and all in the 10 o'clock slot. And then Leeds hosting Liverpool to round out the Saturday fixtures at 12:30 Eastern. Jimbo, maybe, what stands out to you on Saturday?
Saturday, goals wise, you got to look at City. I would think you got to look at Liverpool. I'm going to say you got to look at Liverpool. Leeds have
What-
not kept. Leeds have kept a clean sheet. You gotta think they're going to turn.
Who are you looking at Liverpool?
I don't know. I'm done giving out my picks. I just think that's a
You gotta.
that's
No,
a
you're
must
not
win.
done giving out your
It's a
picks.
should win, must win for them.
Would you say that maybe there's expectations for a certain high price striker?
Do you? Do you think there's expectations or there's
If you were a Liverpool fan, do you think there's expectations?
yes, he's expected to score, but in the Premier League. But I think in FPL, you have to take a step back and say nobody's banking on him to score a goal this weekend. He's not Haaland form that if he doesn't score, we'll be disappointed.
I could understand that
Nobody's gonna
stance.
captain him because he's the best pick of the week.
I could understand that stance. I could get behind that from that perspective.
Right? Yeah. That's where I've been coming from. I think there's a difference between FPL expectation and price tag of signing with Liverpool expectation.
Okay, that's fair. I like where your head's at. I mean, we it's no surprise, right? Liverpool, we said it weeks ago, this fixture run was always going to be attractive for them. If nothing more, it's kind of must watch because they're the only game in that time slot. They're going to be featured on NBC. Gotta love the Peacock there. But they're fascinating. Like, will they snap out of this? Will they continue to just decay? I don't know. We're going to see what happens.
And
I
it's
think
kind of a
another
good
game.
letdown spot for Leeds because they just had a big win, but they're
That's
not
true.
very good. So
They're not. But they can also put a few goals past. The DCL's been on a rip, been on a tear.
yeah, I could see that. I think there'll be goals on both sides, but I think Leeds are not going to keep a clean sheet.
No, I would be shocked. I'm going to put this out there. I think Dominic Szoboszlai gets in the goal. Gets in the goal sheet this week. Okay, then folks, take that one to the bank. In the 10 o'clock slate, though, I'm looking at these fixtures. I think for me, the one that probably stands out, it's gotta be the Newcastle fixture, right? Like,
Yeah, that's very true.
Spurs have seemingly no attack. Thomas Frank is going to be emotional playing Brentford. You got to think that he's still got some, heartstrings to his old
You
club.
just said Newcastle.
I know, no. This is why I'm saying that, like, I'm not trusting these other games to,
Okay.
be interesting. I don't think. I know you mentioned City. They're going to have a nice run against Sunderland, but we saw what Sunderland was able to do against Arsenal, and we've seen City's defense kind of fall apart in the second half. If I was, looking at a game to target attack and defense, I think it's that Newcastle Burnley game. Honestly,
I could see that.
so
You don't think Holland specifically? Maybe this is a captain discussion, but Holland specifically, maybe not. Maybe you're not taking a shot on Doku or O'Reilly this game, but you got to think Holland at home got a shot.
Yeah, I mean Holland's one of those players that, like, he's kind of he is the fixture-proof player thus far. I mean, we talked about that very early on in our run of episodes, how, Arsenal, Liverpool, they're always been kind of fixture-proof. Holland is kind of that fixture-proof player because all of City's goals kind of flow through him. Foden has kind of emerged lately as kind of that second option, which is what they really needed. But I'm probably leaning towards Holland right now as a captain. A lot of that, to be fair, though, is influenced by the fact that I think if I don't pick Holland as a captain, just based on where I'm positioned in the table, and he does, snag a brace, I have more to lose than if I captain him and he blanks. So
It's almost like you wish you were at the bottom of the table, so you were
it's
unshackled.
be way more fun for sure. What's your prediction for the Villa Arsenal game?
I could see a 1-1.
1-1. You think only one? That's interesting. Yeah, I mean Villa have been in phenomenal form, but
They've
Arsenal
been in good
obviously the
form,
class
but,
of the league.
they're coming off 4 goals here. I mean, prior to that, they haven't been putting in 3 or 4 a week. They've had a nice run. They've been pretty quiet, and they're going up against a really good defense. So who's rested? So I could see goals on both sides, but I don't see this being a shootout.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested to see. For me, it comes down to health. Yeah, obviously, we didn't see Saliba. Gabriel's not going to be back yet. We saw Christian Mosquera go down, which I think they brought in Timber. So, to be honest, I'm not exactly sure how they lined up. I know Hincape was back there. They had Calafiore. They had Ben White. And they had Timber. So, I don't know exactly how Arsenal ended up lining up in the back. But I don't know if that kind of exposes Arsenal. So does that mean, they've got another center back and, waiting in the wings there? I don't know, but maybe that Villa can exploit that a little bit. Never captain the early game though. So like Saka owners,
Never.
if anyone, Gyökeres has been very quiet lately. No one's really been talking about him.
Well, he just came back from injury.
Yeah, I mean that's how quiet he's been. Like I'm not talking about him at all. But yeah, I mean this will be a fun fixture to kick the weekend off, no doubt.
What about Sunday, Monday? Who do you like in those? We
Yeah,
got Brighton, West Ham early Sunday, followed by Fulham Palace, and then Monday is Wolves hosting United.
so I love the Palace fixture. I think from a defense, I think again that Palace defense, if you want to own two, maybe even three Palace defenders, if you really want to go for it, I don't think that's a bad play. I could understand, the risk reward in that sense. If there was ever a Wolves fixture to target, it's got to be this one. I mean, United's attacking numbers, we've said it all season. This could be 4 or 5-0. I mean, it really should be that level of dominance from United as far as,
Yeah,
goal output. But will it? Who knows, right?
I
So,
hope so.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was contemplating moving Mbeumo out last week for Bruno, but with West Ham and Wolves, yeah, he's playing 3 in a row, but you still got to think there's still a chance.
That was the whole issue. I that was honestly part of the reason why I didn't move Salah out. I was happy that Salah was staying because if Salah was leaving early for AFCON, then I would have had to move him out early. And I don't know. Long story short, I agree with you. United's fixtures against West Ham and Wolves were too good to pass up. So you hope that Mbomo can find his form here. You hope Bruno Fernandes can find his form here, and you hope they can put a couple, maybe each can get a brace. I don't know,
That would be good.
but I could definitely see a lot of managers going the Mbomo, going the Bruno Fernandes route here for that differential captaincy.
You think I'd double down?
I mean, you're always supposed to double down on 11, so I think you should
This is
captain
week
Xerxes.
15 now. So if I'm showing a 15 and
Dealer's got a 6, so you're supposed to double down. Yeah, so as far as captaincy goes, I mean, we kind of mentioned it, but in order, maybe, or no, we don't have to put it in order, but Holland, probably Mbomo, Fernandez.
yeah, I'd even throw Voltamade in there.
Would you go Voltamade or would you go Anthony Gordon?
I don't. If anything, I would think Gordon would start over Barnes, given Voltamade's form. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
Barnes had been getting the minutes because of his form, and Gordon obviously come back from the injury, but I think Gordon will still be first choice.
yeah. Honestly, a Palace defender, not a bad pick either.
Not a bad pick either. I like all
But
that.
it's your turn to go first for the captain pick. So who are you going with?
Yeah, so I mentioned the score. So you got 12 points. I've got 21. I think this week I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna do something crazy. I'm gonna do something wild and crazy. A couple of wild and crazy guys. I'm gonna go Tyrick Mitchell, Palace defender.
Palace defender. Did you have that queued up before I said Palace defense?
I honestly didn't.
I was gonna go Munoz, so now I
Oh
feel like I
man.
can't.
Well, you could, and then it just comes down to does either one get an assist or a goal?
I'm gonna go Brian Mbeumo.
Okay,
I'll double down. Gotta love that picture.
this is gonna be a good one. What about differentials? I mean, anyone else? I mean, we've talked about a lot of players in this app.
Yeah, I don't have any. Pictures are coming hot and heavy. Tough to keep up.
Yeah. I think the only ones that for me would really stand out, and they're obviously risky, but if you really want to go for them, you can. I just mentioned Isak. Isak at 4.9% ownership. Liverpool, they've got to get goals from somewhere. Salah's going to be going. You would think Isak's going to get those minutes.
Yeah,
Maybe not 90, but you got to think he's going to be getting at least 60, 75 minutes up top there. He's going to get enough minutes to be getting those goals. With Salah gone, I guess we're not positive who's going to get penalties. I would think McAllister might be taking them over in Salah's absence because he was on them when he was at Brighton, but I don't know.
I can't imagine McAllister would take them over
I think
Isak.
if Isak's on the pitch, Isak will get them. So I think Isak would be a pretty decent differential if you're looking to move from Salah to Isak. That's not a bad move in my opinion. The other one would be to Kuiper. I think to Kuiper we looked, he's priced at 4.3. If he starts again this week on that left wing, maybe not a long term option. Maybe it's only for a few game weeks until Matoma gets it, healthy. You know, you're going to get another wild card. You're going to get 5 free transfers in game week 16. So it could be, just something to shake things up, try to make up a little bit of ground for a game week. Brighton are playing West Ham, not really known for their defense. And that brings up a good point, too, because I don't know if we really mentioned it in this episode. I know we've mentioned it quite a lot in other episodes. Make sure you use all your transfers this game week, because when game week 15 locks, and the game week 16 deadline becomes available, you will be refilled with your 5 free transfers. So there's no benefit to rolling transfers over after this game week 15 deadline locks. You will only be refilled up to 5 free transfers. So use
Very
them
true.
or you will lose them.
I guess somebody to throw in here. He's owed by like 9.8%. So Palmer still technically a differential. I'd say not a differential, meaning he's not known or not on people's radar, but just getting him in early, something to consider.
I like that.
I mean, I doubt people are concerned with price rises and getting priced out of squads with all these transfers coming up and all the cheap midfield options, but it's always fun to get ahead of somebody getting on a good run, and him coming back from injury might line up. Bournemouth this week, followed by it's another tasty one, Everton. Could be a
Yeah.
good one for him to kick back in.
Not a bad option there, Jimbo. And speaking of price rises, so I'm taking a look right now. Poltamade is actually going to be rising in price tonight. He's already met the threshold. Sends Lamens and Ben Heck, so United keeper, Brighton defender, they're on track to go up tomorrow night. So before the deadline, there's a handful of players that are on track to move, probably around the deadline, but probably won't go up before the deadline. So just a handful of players. And then as far as price drops go, Sato will drop in price tonight, and Buemo is also on track to drop tomorrow. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you're looking to make transfers, you might want to do it before Saturday morning, before that deadline, because you might lose point 1 or point 2 if you've got a couple of those players in your squad, and that might be the difference between getting the player that you want and having to settle. So hopefully that doesn't happen to you. All right, so we talked about that. As far as our transfer plans, have you put any thought? How many transfers do you have left this week?
I have one because I did the double last week.
The double.
Kind of want to get to Kuiper in, so maybe Roden, Ronaldo, or Esteve, moving on from them. I think that might be what I do because I like my squad I could field. Other than that, and then once I get reloaded, I can be a little bit more creative, but I can't afford to keep taking hits being how far down I am.
Yeah, I'm in kind of the same boat. I think I've got one free transfer. I believe I have no money in the bank. Yeah, I have no money in the bank. So I think I'm probably gonna probably just move Lewis Skelly out and probably just bring in Gahey because I'm not sure if Dorgu's gonna start, and I don't really want to have to sub on Reynaldo against City. And my only other person on my bench is Josh King. And yes, he gets some minutes, but it's not really anybody that I want to bring on. So it'll probably be Lewis Skelly, probably a Gahey, and I probably will do it pretty quickly because I definitely don't want to get priced out of that. Otherwise, I actually
That's
kind of like my squad, so I'll be going Dubravka in goal, Van de Ven, Richards, Gahey as a back line, Sala, Pedro Neto, Mbuemo, Kudus in the midfield, Holland captain, Thiago, and Voltemade up front. So my only real risk there is Mo Salah, and maybe I'll put Josh King in that first sub slot, or maybe I'll leave Dorgu in that first slot because they're playing Wolves, and I think I like the United fixture against Wolves better than the Fulham fixture against Palace.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and then then I make it to 16 deadline, and I get my 5 free transfers, and then see you later, Salah. See you later, Mbuemo, and I'm making my moves. So, you want to know what Lord Tink's doing?
Let's hear it.
All right. So I prompted ChatGPT. Lord Tinkerton is transferring out João Pedro, which is crazy. And they are calling to bring in your boy, Callum Wilson.
Ooh, I like that.
I don't understand that. So they
Wait,
will start.
who are they playing? Brighton.
West Ham is playing Brighton.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah. So they'll start Sanchez in goal. Back line will be Timber, Pedro Porro, Chris Richards. Midfield will be Sala, who will get the armband. Doku, who will get the vice captain. Thank God. Kudus, Bruno Fernandes, and Semenyo. So we avoid the Bruno Fernandes captaincy and vice captaincy. Evan Nilsson and Callum Wilson. On the bench will be Totti, Mukiele, and Dubravka. Muniz over at Fulham is not going to play. He's injured. No chip, not recommending to do any sort of chips. So I will make their transfer right now so that we don't forget it. And let's go do that right now. So see you later, João Pedro. It was nice knowing you. Callum Wilson, you are part of the team. He just got 3.1 mil back in his team. Man, that is so much money.
That's
Sala and Doku is going
There's
to
no
be
way
your vice.
he uses all of his chips before the end of the half, right?
No chance.
Yeah.
No chance. And this is very interesting. So when you go to make your transfer this week, there's a window that pops up and it says AFCON transfers. All managers in FPL will be given extra free transfers in Game Week 16 to help plan around this season's AFCON. Your total number of free transfers will be topped up to the max possible number of 5 immediately after the Game Week 15 deadline on Saturday, December 6th. Ahead of Game Week 16. The transfers do not need to be used in Game Week 16. They can be carried over between game weeks and used at any time. So, as we said, so they're really trying to let you know, you're going to get your transfers here. So, all right, Jimbo. I think that kind of brings us pretty close to the end. Or did we miss anything?
Probably, but it's 2 mega eps in a week.
Was it 2 or 3? I think we've done 3. The last 3 episodes have all been mega eps. Oh, it's been a lot.
Somebody's got to do it.
Have you done any Christmas shopping yet?
A little bit.
Yeah. What are you getting me for Christmas this year?
I can't tell you. What are you getting
I've
me?
been very naughty.
All right,
No,
let's wrap it.
I've been nice. Well, listen, if you've made it this far, as always, thank you guys very much for hanging out with us. Please do like, subscribe, go follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Drop us a comment. What do you guys want for Christmas or Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you guys celebrate around this time of year? Let us know who you're captaining. Feel free to roast us. As always, it's still not too late to join our mini league. We'll drop the code in the description.
Share your Spotify Wraps if we made it.
Yes, share your Spotify Wraps. We always want to know what you guys are listening to and how you can listen to us even more. And thank you guys for joining us on Tinker Time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and drop your captain picks in the comments. See you guys next game week, and happy tinkering.
morning sun, chasing points, the game's begun. Big decisions week by week, fantasy glory's what we seek. Pick your squad, the clock won't wait.